This is the unbelievable story of the tractor maker who challenged Ferrari. Today, Lamborghini is one of the most desirable luxury car brands in the world. The company generates billions of dollars in annual revenue, and its cars are owned by some of the richest and most famous people on earth. But here's the surprising part. Lamborghini was not created through careful planning. It was born from a single insult. Ferruccio Lamborghini was only known for building tractors. One day, he visited Ferrari's founder Enzo Ferrari to complain about a problem with his Ferrari. Instead of helping him, Enzo mocked him. He reportedly said, "You don't know how to drive. Stick to building tractors." Those words hit Ferruccio like a fire. Right then and there, he made a promise to himself. He would build a sports car so good that it would challenge Ferrari itself. But one could have imagined that anger of a tractor manufacturer would ignite one of the greatest rivalries in automotive industry and give birth to the legendary brand we know today as a Lamborghini. The early years, Ferruccio Lamborghini was born on April 28, 1916, in a peaceful village of Ronazzo in northern Italy. It was a difficult time. World War I had devastated the country, and by 1918 Italy's economy was in ruins. Poverty everywhere. Food was scarce. Fortunately, the Lamborghini family survived by working on their small vineyard. As a child, Ferruccio spent long days helping his father, Antonio Lamborghini, on the family farm. Everything changed when Antonio brought home an old tractor. Although the machine made farming easier, it was noisy, outdated, and constantly needed repairs. But Ferruccio was fascinated. He spent hours taking it apart and putting it back together, trying to understand exactly how it worked. What started as childhood curiosity soon became a lifelong passion for engineering. As he grew older, Ferruccio realized that his future was not in farming. He wanted to become an engineer. Convincing his father was not easy. As the eldest son, Ferruccio was expected to continue the family business. After many difficult conversations, Antonio finally gave his blessings. Ferruccio enrolled at the Vitale Daddia Technical Institute in Bologna to study mechanical engineering. After graduating, he trained under a master blacksmith, learning advanced welding and metalworking techniques. His skills earned him a job at one of the city's largest industrial workshops, where military vehicles were repaired and maintained. By the age of 18, Ferruccio had already opened his own mechanical workshop with a friend in his own town. He repaired old tractors during the day. He spent his free time driving and studying automobiles. Life seemed to be moving in a right decision. Then, World War II began. Ferruccio was drafted into the Royal Italian Air Force. Because of his mechanical expertise, he was stationed on the Greek island of Rhodes, where he spent 3 years repairing military trucks, tractors, and other vehicles. In 1943, after Italy surrendered, German forces occupied the island. Ferruccio managed to convince them to let him continue operating his repair workshop. 2 years later, then Allied forces captured Rhodes. Ferruccio was briefly imprisoned. However, after recognizing his remarkable mechanical talent, the Allies assigned him to repair their military vehicles instead. A year later, he finally returned home in Italy. But the country had changed. The economy had collapsed. Money had lost much of its value. Jobs were scarce. Despite these hardships, Ferruccio reopened a small repair shop and continued fixing old vehicles. Around the same time, he married Cecilia Monti. In 1947, the couple welcomed their son, Tonino Lamborghini. For a brief moment, life seemed perfect. Then tragedy struck. Cecilia died during childbirth. Ferruccio was left alone to raise his newborn child. Heartbroken, he buried himself in work to escape the pain. But another challenge remained. His repair business was not earning enough money. He wanted to give his son a better future. Repairing old tractors alone would never make that possible. He knew he needed to build something much bigger. One afternoon, his father sent an urgent message. The tractor on the family vineyard had broken down. Ferruccio immediately rushed to the farm. While repairing the machine, he noticed how frustrated his father had become. Fuel prices were rapidly increasing. Tractors were unreliable. Replacement parts were extremely expensive. Ferruccio realized something important. This was not just his father's problem. Farmers across Italy were facing exactly the same struggle. After World War II, Italy desperately needed to increase agricultural production. But modern tractors were simply too expensive for an ordinary farmers to afford. That's when Ferruccio saw an incredible business opportunity. He decided to build a tractor that was powerful, reliable, affordable, and fuel efficient. At that time, the Italian government was auctioned surplus military equipment left over from the war. Using his military experience, Ferruccio bought an old British Morris engine at very low price. Back in his workshop, he made a brilliant engine and modification. He installed a fuel atomizer that allowed the engine to start on petrol and automatically switch to the much cheaper diesel once it was running. He also reused military scrap parts to reduce the production costs even further. For weeks of hard work, his first tractor was finally complete. When his father tested it, he was amazed. The tractor was powerful, dependable, and incredibly economical to operate. Soon, neighboring farmers wanted one too. Word spread quickly. Within weeks, farmers were lining up outside the Ferruccio's workshop. Demand expanded. At first, he built just one tractor each week. Soon, new orders were arriving every single day. But business created another problem. He needed money to expand the production. Banks refused to lend him anything. So his father made an extraordinary sacrifice. Tonio mortgaged the family vineyard to finance his son's dream. It was an enormous risk. If Ferruccio's failed, the family would lose everything. Instead, he proved everyone wrong. He hired workers, purchased thousands of surplus engines, and founded Lamborghini Trattori. By 1952, the company was already producing its own diesel engines that were more powerful, more reliable, and cheaper than many competitors. Luck also played a role. The Italian government introduced financing program for farmers purchasing tractors built in Italy. Lamborghini tractors qualified immediately. Demand skyrocketed once again. By the late 1950s, Lamborghini had become one of Italy's largest tractor manufacturers. Ferruccio expanded into heating and air conditioning systems in 1960, creating another successful business. He was now one of the wealthiest businessmen in Italy. With his fortune come more passions, luxury sports cars. His garage, soon filled with prestigious brands like Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, and Maserati, and Ferrari too. But no matter which car he bought, he always believed there was room for an improvement. The car that frustrated him the most was the Ferrari 250 GT. His clutch repeatedly failed during high-speed driving. After paying for several expensive repairs, Ferruccio finally lost patience. He brought the Ferrari into his own workshop. When his mechanics dismantled the car, they made a shocking discovery. The clutch inside the Ferrari was nearly identical to the one used in Lamborghini tractors. The same basic components, but there was one unbelievable difference. The tractor clutch cost about $10. Ferrari was charging nearly $1,000 for essentially the same parts. As an engineer, Ferruccio immediately redesigned the clutch to make it stronger, more reliable, and better balanced. Then he visited Enzo Ferrari, not to argue, but to offer a professional advice. He believed Enzo Ferrari could build an even better car. Instead, Enzo mobbed him, insulted him. He reportedly said, "My cars are perfect, the problem is yours driving. Stick to building tractors and leave sports car to me." Those words changed Ferruccio's life forever. On his way home, he made a decision. He would build sports cars that were faster, more comfortable, more reliable, and better engineered than Ferrari. In 1963, he founded Automobili Lamborghini. He hired several Ferrari's top engineers and gave them just 4 months to build a completely new Grand Touring car before the Turin Motor Show. It seemed impossible. The team worked around the clock. Then the exhibition arrived. The car engine still was not finished. Instead of canceling the launch, Ferruccio filled the empty engine bay with bricks to stimulate the cracked weight. He locked the hood so no one could open it. The gamble worked. Visitors were captivated by the car's stunning design. Nobody asked to see the engine. Soon afterward, the Lamborghini 350 GT entered production and was praised as a technical masterpiece. Then came the car that changed automotive history forever. Launched in 1966, it introduced the world to the modern supercar. It was one of the fastest production cars of its time, with breathtaking styling that fascinated celebrities, collectors, and car lovers around the globe. Ferruccio had not just challenged Ferrari, he had created the entirely new standard to performance, luxury, and customer service. If a Lamborghini owner experienced a mechanical problem, the company would even fly a mechanic to the customer at his own expense. But just as Lamborghini reached incredible success, a global crisis was about to threaten everything Ferruccio had built. The beginning of the 1970s brought disaster. The Bolivian government cancelled a massive order for 5,000 tractors due to political instability. Ferruccio had borrowed heavily to fulfill the contract. Now he was buried in debt. At the same time, production delays were hurting his sport car business. In 1972, he was forced to sell a 51% stake in Automobili Lamborghini. A year later, he sold his entire tractor company to avoid bankruptcy. It was one of the hardest decisions of his life. Then the 1973 oil crisis struck. Fuel prices soared worldwide. Demand for powerful V12 supercars collapsed almost one night. Even Ferrari and Porsche struggled. But Lamborghini was a much younger company with fewer financial resources. Despite every effort, Ferruccio realized he could no longer continue. In 1974, he sold his remaining shares and retired at the age of just 58 years old. He had already achieved what many believed was impossible. He had proven to Ferrari and to the world that a tractor manufacturer could build some of the greatest sports cars ever created. Ferruccio handed his heating business to his son, Tonino, and returned to quieter life, focusing on the producing high-quality wines. Even in retirement, his entrepreneurial spirit never disappeared. In 1993, Ferruccio Lamborghini passed away after suffering a heart attack. After his death, Lamborghini experienced years of instability. Between 1978 and 1981, poor management pushed the company into bankruptcy. It changed ownership several times. Finally, in 1998, Audi, part of the Volkswagen Group, acquired Lamborghini. By combining Italian design with German engine and precision, Audi transformed Lamborghini into a global powerhouse. Models like Murcielago, Gallardo, and Aventador became worldwide icons. Then came another game changer. In 2018, Lamborghini introduced the Urus SUV. It combined supercar performance with everyday practicality and became the brand's best-selling model. Today, Lamborghini sells more than 10,000 cars every year, with the Urus securing far more than half of its all deliveries. What began as a simple insult eventually became one of the greatest comeback stories in the business history. A tractor builder did not just compete with Ferrari. He built a legend that continued to inspire the world. So this is an incredible story of the Lamborghini. So like and share this video. Also subscribe this channel for more unbelievable and beyond effects. Here is.